Good evening and welcome to the Congo Hour. I am your host, Waynna. Trippy is not here this evening. He deserves some time off, so he went somewhere. I forget where he was going. And I was hoping Mr. Congo came down to share some of his wisdom. I was hoping he surprised us, but I am here. And as always, we're going to have a great show. I'm going to give away some tickets for a bingo night. Women in Labor is having a bingo night on December the 13th, and I'll be giving a few tickets away, so make sure that you keep on watching. And I have a special guest today that's no stranger to the Congo Hour, and that is my friend, my husband, Donald Morton. He's coming on to talk about a project that he does. I don't know if I should call it a project, but it's called The Remand. And he's doing a phenomenal job. Oh, he also got a book coming out too. So I'm not gonna even take a break. I'm gonna go right on over because we got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about.
Welcome back to the Congo Hour.
Thank you for flying me in. I mean, you guys flew me in because Trippy would be out of town, and first class ticket on Delta, and you flew me in so that I could be here today, so that I could be with you guys today. So thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Congo.
I know Mr. Congo is sitting back saying,
like, what?
This, you always coming up with something. Right. So how you been?
Everything is good, as well as can be expected.
Yeah.
Right. But considering right. All things, I'm doing well.
Okay, so I do want to go back to that, but I want to start off with your Remand project.
Okay.
Tell me how it came. Well, first give some background about it.
Yeah, so the Remand project came about because there is really a crisis with adult Black males, right? There's a lot of work being done with young people, a lot of work being done with women and other people groups. Not a lot of work is being done with adult Black males. By the time men make significant mistakes, we just kind of throw them away, whether it be prison or things like that. So we developed the Remand Project to do two things. One is to transform the character of individual Black males, right? Character meaning his capacity to confront the adversity that happens every day.
Okay.
And then
you said every day.
Every single day, right? So there's not a day that a man is not, and a woman, is not confronted with some level of adversity. And usually what happens is if I don't have an expanded capacity to deal with that, I'm gonna make dumb decisions, right? And I'm the poster child for having had
I'm glad you put it out there.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was gonna sip on my tea.
I'm very open about that.
I know you are.
Because a part of it is being resilient, right? And being able to overcome those things that we've encountered. So that's number one. Number two, how do we transform the character of the institutions that impact Black men, right? Policy, media, religion, right? Those spaces that are not necessarily friendly toward the advancement of Black men. So that's what Remand does every single day. I'm really proud of the organization. It started in 2019, and we're going really, really strong. 2019,
what made you, how was it birthed?
You know what? When I stopped pastoring after 25 years, right?
It was 25 years?
It was 25 years,
wow.
Right? And when I stopped pastoring, 51, even though we had a small, moderate-sized church, 51% of my church were men. And as you know, in the Black church, that's unheard of, right? Usually, it's about 85 to 90% women in the Black church.
Because, women run the church.
Women run the church, right? And it's not that men don't want God. It's seemingly that men didn't want church because the mosque is full of brothers, right?
That's true.
So a part of what we discovered is that there was a message that men were gravitating toward, and we were really, really intentional about serving men at Transform Church. And so when I stopped pastoring, the very next thing that we did was start the Remand Project to serve guys who are troubled and who have no support, whether they are fathers, whether they're husbands, business owners. He had no support at all, and we wanted to kind of fill that gap.
Okay, so now that you're living in Georgia,
Yeah.
how do you service the men that you started with here?
Yeah, very good question. So Ron Handy is
Cousin Ron.
Cousin Ron, right? Cousin Ron is the director for Delaware.
Okay.
So he handles all the business here in Delaware. We still have a very strong presence here in Delaware. We have a presence in Atlanta now. We have a presence in Houston, Texas, Los Angeles, California. And so the organization has grown fast but responsibly, right? So that we could serve the men that are in these different areas. And a part of the reason why I'm so glad you allowed me to come on is 2024 is 5 years old that Remand will be.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
usually small businesses don't last.
That's very
right?
true.
So wanted to celebrate that. And also we are going to take 100 men free of charge through the Remand Project to kind of develop data and research on the efficacy of the program. So we're looking for brothers that are willing to do some hard emotional work, some hard character work, to develop callus on your soul. You won't necessarily get it on your hands, but you'll get it on your souls. So that we can be stand-up dudes in our homes, with business, when we're employed, as a father, whatever the case may be. Whatever, in the community, right. So these different areas that we really need to come back home to. We need to really repopulate those areas that we were once involved in, and hopefully the Remand Project can be a catalyst to make those things happen.
And are any of those men here in Delaware?
Yeah, all of them will be here in Delaware.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right.
So we are, and I don't want to talk too much about it, but we have a funder who is funding the research. So 100 men from Delaware. All of them have to be from Delaware because our funder is in Delaware. And he has a requirement. He said, hey, I want to serve the guys that are here.
What's the age group?
21 years old and older.
Okay, no cap.
No cap.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be any cap. There will be a specific criteria, whether or not that guy has come out of jail, whether he's re-entering. There will be a criteria. We're not quite sure what that criteria will be yet.
Okay.
But I'm uber excited to see us serve these guys and watch their lives turn around. We've done work since 2019, partner with the Department of Health and Social Services, Division of Child Support Services. So we've done work here. Now we get a chance to kind of research it and see how effective it has been.
Yeah, all jokes aside,
Sure.
I've definitely seen a transformation in you.
Oh, thank you.
So that is probably a part of what you birth out of Remand to share with other men.
Yeah, thank you for that, Waynna. It's always important, I think, for people that know you, right, to be able to bear witness to the transformation. And of course, you know me, right? And I know enough about you to know, and people know enough about you to know you're not gonna blow smoke on the Congo Hour,
Right, yeah, no.
right? I did a lot of work because I made such significant mistakes. And I took myself through a journey to kind of transform my own personal character. And it is that journey now codified that I take men through, and we've been able to see at least anecdotal evidence of guys that have come out of jail, guys that were once in gang life, guys that deal with child support issues and the like. We've seen tremendous transformation in them.
You talked about policy, and you brought up child support.
Yeah.
There has to be something done about the child support situation for
without
men.
question. Unfortunately, it's a national issue, right? It's not just even local to Delaware. Because recently, sometime last year, right, we had what's called a versus battle, Black men versus the Division of Child Support Services. And, the Division of Child Support initially was a little upset with the name because they didn't understand that it's a cultural thing with us, right? This versus battle. So we had these series of conversations between Black men and the division. The division was great enough to be able to come out, answer questions, and do some on-the-spot work with guys that were in those particular meetings. So there were guys, Waynna, who were literally crying real crocodile tears about their relationships or non-relationships with their children, with their children's mother, so on and so forth, right? So one guy gets up and he says, I am up to date with my arrears. I don't have arrears, and I still don't have my license back. So Ted Murmagos, I want to call his name because he was so great then. Ted Murmagos called him outside, worked through his issue, went back to the office and said, how is it that this guy doesn't have his license? Found out that there were over 1,200 guys that didn't have their licenses, that should have had their licenses, and over 1,200 non-custodial parents as a result of the work that Remand did with the Division of Child Support Services, had their licenses restored because they were riding dirty up until that time. Right?
What you mean riding dirty?
Riding dirty, no insurance.
Okay.
They had to get to work,
right?
Because if they didn't get to work, they couldn't pay child support, which is a part of this whole cycle that exists, right? And so we're excited to continue to work with the division, and we're excited about the division's willingness to continue to work with us so that guys are made whole. Here's the question though, right? It has to beg the question. How in the world does a man have his license taken automatically, right, when he doesn't pay?
You get that suspension letter in the mail.
You get that suspension letter in the mail, and I know that suspension letter, right? You get that suspension letter in the mail, and you pulling into communities that ain't even yours, ducking and dodging, right? You got all that going on, but they don't make you whole when all of your arrears are paid. So if they take it when you are in arrears, then they should give it back automatically. You shouldn't have to go through hoops, right, just to go through what's necessary to get your license restored. So 1,200 were restored, shout out to the division, but now we need to find a way to kind of change policy to make sure that men get their licenses back when they're all good.
I'm glad the title was controversial for them to want to come out to hear the cry of the men that were there.
Right, absolutely. And I don't want to miss the importance of the partnership that exists because the division didn't have to do that. Let's be clear, right? They're attempting to kind of change their image, right? It used to be the Division of Child Support Enforcement. Right?
Yes.
Like, you don't do what you need to do. We're going to enforce some laws. You're going to jail, all those kinds of things. And now they are committed to serving men and non-custodial parents. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but I don't want to go without saying that there is a lot of work that has been done in partnership with the Remand Project.
So if there's a gentleman watching and his license are suspended, he's paid his arrears or almost finished, what is the next steps for them?
Yeah, good question, right? So one of the things that I would do is I would hit us up, the remandproject@gmail.com, and one of our team members will respond. But there's also been...
Wait a minute, say the contact information
The
again.
Remand Project, TheRemanned project@gmail.com.
Okay.
They can hit us there. A part of what we're also working with now with Daniel Walker and some others.
Daniel.
Yeah, my guy.
That's my buddy.
Right, Daniel Walker and some others, is there's been a lot of moving parts in the Division of Child Support Services. Ted is not there anymore. Shayna's not there anymore. So I don't really know who's who.
Right.
And we got to bring some sense of stability to the department so that guys can be served at the level that we have promised them that they would be served. My name is on that. So I need to make sure the guys are serviced.
I like you said your name is on it.
Yeah.
Because you know how I am about my name. When my grandfather taught me a long time ago.
Pop.
Be a woman of your word, be
absolutely.
a man of your word.
Absolutely.
That's
without
good.
question.
That's good. So you wrote a book.
I did.
Do you want to jump into the book? Is there anything else about, I know the book is a part of Remand, but is there anything that you want to talk about before we go to the book?
No, I just want to make sure that those 100 guys, right? Those guys that we were talking about, they hit us at the same email address if you're interested in being a part of this work. And coming home, right? Guys, we're needed. And I think it's important that brothers hear that, right? We live in a society that doesn't necessarily celebrate men in the way that we should, and brothers are needed. All of the data and the statistics prove that when a man is not in the house, when a man is not present, the apple cart is upset, right? And so I want to make sure that we repopulate institutions with strong, character-driven men that are committed to doing the right thing so that our society and our culture can be transformed.
I want to talk to the ladies real quick.
Okay, sure.
Because there are, I know females use their children as a, I want to say as a pawn to keep the father down if they're not together.
Yes, correct.
So there's jealousy that plays a role, egos that plays a role. Like to me, I mean, I keep on, like you don't know, like even with Keshad.
Right.
That was important to me that you have a relationship with him. Keshad is your first child. So when we got together, it was important to me that Keshad, that you're in Keshad's life.
Absolutely.
And that me and his mother got along. So,
absolutely.
I mean, Kim's my girl. She comes to my birthday parties and everything.
Absolutely.
Not too many women do that.
And I think it's important. I'm glad that you mentioned that, right? I was a teenage dad, right? And there's a lot that comes with being a teenage dad. You're trying to figure it out. I think I'm a pretty good dad now, but at that time, I wasn't a good dad. So you being able to help me to connect the dots, you and Kim working together, created the relationship that Keshad and I have now. We have a phenomenal relationship now. And at that time, you know, it was pretty volatile between Kim and I. She's functioning as a single mom. She, you know, I'm making promises, hey, I'm gonna come by, and I don't show up. Right. And then she's like, hey, buddy, which is my nickname. They can't call me buddy, but she called me buddy. Right. Buddy, like I have to see his tears when you don't come.
Right.
You don't have to see that. I have to see that. So I'm going to need you to keep your word. Right. And so you were a major part of making sure that I kept my connection with Key, that Kim and I always got along. So thank you for that, right?
Definitely, my pleasure. And Keshad and I have a wonderful relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, again, the proof. People ask all the time, how you and your ex get along? Because we promised, right? When we divorced, we promised we were going to show others how to do it. That it doesn't have to be antagonistic. We ain't got to battle. We don't have to be any of that.
We almost battled a few times.
Of course. But that's a part of every relationship, right? But there's no perpetual anger with us and things of that nature. So, you know, for the guy who's trying to figure it out, all's not lost. And for mom who is upset, right, with his inability to do the things that he genuinely needs to do, just give him some time. Connecting to Remain. We got a bunch of brothers who are committed to doing the work, committed to being great dads, and he can connect with us so that we can give him some tools. Usually these guys just don't have the tools.
That's what I was going to say. They don't know how to be the father or be the husband because they didn't have
one themselves, right? And so it's not an excuse, but it is a reason. It's not an excuse, but it is a reason. So I'm imploring every child's mother. I don't really do the whole baby mama thing, but you know, every child's mother to try to find a way to co-parent, right, with him, because it's in the best interest of your child.
That part,
right? It really don't have nothing to do with y'all. It's in the best interest of the child. That's what I left out. I shared, like, it's not about you. It's not about Kim. It's about Keshad. So absolutely. And even when, I mean, Hunter is my baby at 29 years old. But even when we divorced, Hunter had an opportunity to come with me. But I said, let him stay with you because of his age, and he needed to
have a man in his life.
Yeah, let's talk about that moment, because that's an important moment, but it was also a difficult moment, right? I'm saying, hey, he's a young man, let him stay with me, and with tears in your eyes, you said okay, right?
You're gonna make me cry now.
Yeah, because it was a monumental moment for me to do again what I didn't have the opportunity to do the first time with Keishad, right? So it was me taking ownership, me taking responsibility. He's a young man, he's growing up, he gonna need me, right? Not that he don't need his mom, because he does, but he needs me at this stage in his life. And with tremendous compassion and love, I remember like it was yesterday, you crying like, okay. And so those are the kinds of mature conversations that couples have to have, because it was in Hunter's best interest at that moment for him to kind of deal with those formative years with me in his life.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about something else real quick.
You get a cry? Go ahead. Let it go.
No, I'm not. But you talked about being a teenage father.
Yeah.
I was a teenage mother with Amber. And maybe a month ago, I apologized to Amber for not being the mother that I should have been.
Wow.
Get ready to cry now. And her response was, Mom, you did the best that you could with what you had.
Right.
And that I did have her best interest at hand.
Right.
Because the things I was doing, I shouldn't have no child with me. So
we were laughing about that on the way here. We were laughing about how I came to the knowledge of the things that you were involved in. I'm a church boy, so I'm like, oh, Amber was crying, right? So when you're a teenage parent, though, you do, and for every man that's watching me, now I'm Gary Cry. For every man that's watching me, your dad got a story too. Right? It's not always these dudes dropping off their children. I don't want nothing to do. It ain't that. It's his inability to handle the adversity that comes, right? Which is the reason why Remand exists. There's a book, Waynna, called Doing the Best I Can.
Okay.
And in that book, they cover and research, I think 3-4 guys from Philly and Jersey. And what they discovered was this, that men are happy when a child is about to be born. Very, very happy. I got a shorty coming. Keishad just had a junior, right?
Yes.
But what happens is when he doesn't know how to handle the adversity, if he loses his job, then he's gonna go back to the streets. Or if they have an argument and he don't know how to make it right, he go to the next sister, right? And then he impregnates her. Right? And then they get into a beef. And because he don't know how to handle the adversity, he go to the next sister, right? And so it becomes this cycle. He's not a bad dude. No one taught him to face the adversity, which is the only reason Remand exists. All we do every single day is help a guy face the facts of what's going on and to help him navigate so that he can come out on the other side of it a better man.
So sometimes when I reach out to you, I get back with you, I'm in a session.
Yeah.
What's a session?
Yeah, so because we were birthed literally in 2019, in June of 2019, which is Remand Day here in Wilmington, right? We went immediately into the pandemic. Right. So we had the contract with the state of Delaware, and we had to do everything online by Zoom, which was a perfect way because now we get a chance to reach guys across the country in session on Zoom, where everyone is forced to tell the truth. Right. So the power of the sessions are that they are deep truth-telling sessions, and men are able, even if it's me, like they don't care that I'm the leader of Remand. They don't care about any of that. It's guys holding one another accountable to doing the right thing, to living in their truth, to what you talk about often, always be true to yourself, right? So if a guy is caught up in adultery, it sounds funny, but it really works. We tell him, go ahead and do that. I just need you to tell your wife when you go home. Like, I don't have no problems if you stepping out, do your thing. But be man enough to tell your lady that you're doing that. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not aligned. And if you're not aligned, there's nothing good that can come out of that.
Gotcha.
Right? So a part of what we don't tell men to do is not do whatever you want to do. You can't control what a man's going to do. But what you can do is help him understand the consequences of his behavior so that he makes different kinds of choices.
Like, you can lose your wife, your children.
You're going to lose your wife, you're going to lose your
else.
children. And this thing that you're doing now ain't going to work.
Right.
Because it's not built on anything.
Okay.
Right? And so as a former cheater, I will tell you, I used to say, Waynna, as a former cheater, right? I used to say, as a former cheater who did it well, but I didn't do it well. I wouldn't got caught up in some of the stuff I got caught up if I did it well. But as a former cheater, I will tell you that there is nothing good that can come out of infidelity. Absolutely nothing, right? So it takes a stronger and more courageous man to face the problems that are going on in his relationship and stand up like a dude and address it, which is what Dad told me to do. I called Dad, I said, hey man, this is what they saying about me.
You gotta tell people who Dad is.
Dr. Michael Aaron Freeman.
I know that's right.
Right? I called Dad, and when all of that was going on, and I said, hey man, this is what they saying. And I'm crying.
Is it true? Did he say, is it true, Donald?
He said, is it true? I said, sir, is it true?
Right.
And I said, yes, sir, most of it is true. He said, then stand like a man and take what you got to take. And I'll never forget it, right? It's my posture.
You wanted to hear
today.
something else?
I wanted to hear something else. Don, it's going to be all right, man. But you know that ain't him.
Right.
Right? It's going to be all right, Don. Just hang in there. Now, if it's true, if it's not true, then what you worrying about it for?
Right.
If it is true, stand up like a man, face your reality, and do what you got to do to recover.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a little break.
Sure.
Because my mouth is getting dry. Some water or something. We going on. But yeah, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
Welcome back to the Congo Hour. I hope that you are enjoying the conversation that I am having with Donald. Yeah. I mean, it's really, one, I'm glad that you came. Mm-hmm. I am super excited about the Remand Project.
Thank you.
And as I shared prior to us taking a break earlier on the show, that I am proud of your transformation that you've made.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. So you have a book.
I do.
This
is my 6th book.
Oh, okay.
I got 6 books.
Okay, Mr. Author.
But none of them as meaningful as this one.
Really?
Yeah. Because you know how the book process is, right? Yes. Sometimes my sermons were transcribed and things of that nature. This is the first one that I sat down to pen.
Okay.
And
Joyce Myers.
Yeah, that's right. And so it really is the journey. Mm-hmm. It's the journey of how to go from one kind of guy to another kind of guy. And really, it's about peeling away the layers of that kind of cover the real you. Mm-hmm. Because there's no broken us. We're healed. We're just under a bunch of trauma. Mm-hmm. The scripture says it this way. I think it's in 1 Samuel. It talks about how they asked, where's Saul? And the Bible says he's over there hidden among his baggage, right? So for me, there are guys who are hidden among, underneath a bunch of baggage, trauma, daddy issues, relationship issues. And those traumas leave soul punches. So the book is about how to recover and how to heal and how to become whole and become a man of character after you've done that work that will last you for a lifetime.
Okay. You mentioned the word trauma. And when I first started my sessions with Shay, shout out to Shay Marriott, Shay Marriott, my therapist.
Yes.
Y'all know I am all about mental health. So when I had my first sessions with her and I was going down my history, she was like, trauma. And I didn't look at it as trauma. Most times it's like, oh, you're a strong Black woman, and we're used to just taking stuff. However, when she said trauma, I was like, wow, like I've been traumatized.
Yeah. And as Black people, part of what I tell guys, because guys don't like the term therapy. We don't like to go to therapy.
Give me a name. What can you cover it up with?
We found out in Georgia, even in Georgia, Waynna, they don't like the term therapy, but they will go to a coach. So they'll come to me as a coach, even if they won't go to a therapist, because there's this stigma that suggests if I got to go to a therapist, something's wrong, like something's off with me. And listen, bruh, sis, there is. When I did I did some certificate work at Princeton Theological Seminary, and I'll never forget, one of my professors said, every Black person need a couch. Every Black person need a couch. With all that has happened to us as a people at a deeply cellular level, we need a couch. So there's nothing wrong. It doesn't have to be anything that has happened in your immediate past, your parents, your parents' parents, your great-grand, like all of those things are passed down. So you need to unload that with somebody. And usually we try to unload it in the barber shop, in the beauty salon. And while those are good cats, like they ain't trained. They trying to line you and you talking about all of this trauma, right? They're in trauma too. So I encourage everyone, go to therapy, y'all.
Go see a coach.
Yeah, go see a coach. Go see someone that'll help you to kind of unpack what's going on with you.
And speaking about unpacking, I know we have a family group chat. And I know that you were having a difficult time. I'm having to go through
a lot of firsts. And the firsts are back to back to back, right? So my first Thanksgiving without mom. And my Thanksgiving was good, but not good, right? And now I'm going to go through Christmas without mom. I miss her calling me, hey, squarehead, or hey, handsome, right? Hey, babe. I don't have that anymore. And then I got her birthday. I got New Year's. Then I got her birthday. Then her anniversary of her transition, right? So all of that in sequence.
I'm glad you said transition. I like that.
The anniversary of her transition, all of that in sequence is hard. And a part of the reason why I'm here is...
On the couch?
On the couch, right? On the couch. Is yesterday I did a meeting at the Grow Place, and I did a meeting at the Grow Place. Shout out to the Grow Place. It allowed me to do.
What is that?
The Grow Place. It's Apostle Leonette Collins, her church, right? The Remain book is on tour, and so yesterday, Saturday, I did a session with the brothers there. And a part of the reason why I'm here, in addition to that, is, as you know, I didn't go to the grave, right? I just didn't. Partly because she ain't there, right? She's not there. So lowering her remains and all that, I said, I'm good. I went back to my room. But a part of what happened with that is I still haven't faced the reality, right? I remember, for real, I called mom's phone and somebody else got her number. I'm like, hello? Right? He like, hello? So I'm pissed. Like somebody, like that number's sacred. You can't have her number. Right? Like it was somebody sitting on the side of the bed with her. Like, right? So I'm trying to, I gotta, and she's still not there. So, Amber asked me, like, Dad, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference? I said, she's still not there. I'm not trying to make her, I'm trying to face the fact, right? That she ain't here no more. And I have not done that yet. I'm still looking for phone calls. I still want to place phone calls. I look at, videos and I just want to, hey, Precious, you good? Nah, she's not here. So a part of this trip is me being able to deal with the reality that Mom's really, she's really gone.
Yeah, I forget sometimes too.
Yeah.
Speaking about yesterday was the funeral home's annual dove ceremony.
Okay.
And because it's gotten so large, I'm not sure if everyone whose loved one passed away was invited.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that went.
Yeah.
However, what it does is you come, the family comes, there's a dove with a ribbon. You write your loved one's name on the ribbon, and you celebrate the life of them.
Okay.
The holidays are very difficult, even for me still. I felt myself getting down in November, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it's seasonal depression is what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you've lost a loved one and you are grieving, please call the funeral home so that they can connect you with a grief counselor. And the number to the funeral home is 302-652-8887. Once again, 302-652-8887. And I wanted to share that because a lot of people don't have the tools to cope with what they're going through. That is right. So Shay has taught me how to identify triggers and gave me the tools. And everybody's tools are not the same tools.
Right.
So I have to pull out my toolbox, the tool that I need to use for going through this season.
There's a chapter in the book. It's a very controversial chapter, so I'm not going to call the full chapter's name.
Okay.
But it's called Let That Out.
Wait, speaking of that, when Mom was transitioning, Donald occupied her office, her sacred office, where she prayed, where she wrote her sermons.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I spent a lot of time with her during her transition, baby, he's in there cursing. I'm like, Donald cursing, what?
Here's why. And there are some people that I did. I stopped as much.
Good.
Only because Romy Coles.
Thank you.
Romy Coles.
I said, Bishop, please help him.
He said, hey man, you still have a responsibility to the kingdom, bro.
Yes.
And there are going to be some people who can't hear you.
And you're very intelligent and you have.
So it's not the language thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the language thing. So I was saying, there is actually a science behind taboo language, right? And I said it to Romy, and Romy said, he said, you're absolutely right. He couldn't argue with it, right? There's a science called taboo language, which some guys can only hear when you jolt them.
Okay.
Right? So I don't cuss just to cuss. I curse because sometimes that's the language that gets their attention, so that once I have their attention, I can serve them. But you can't serve them if they're not going to pay attention to you from the beginning. So there's a chapter in the book, and it's crazy because I'm thinking about, how I'm going to send the book to Dad and tell him I'm just going to pull those pages out.
You have to white out the title.
I'm going to have to white out the title, but it's really a chapter about catharsis.
Okay.
It's a chapter about being able to finally release, bro, whatever it is that you're in pain about, in fear about, angry about. There are these stress rooms, right? These rooms where you get a chance to break stuff, do something, even if it means going somewhere and hollering or screaming and cussing, whatever you got to do, but get it out. Because if you don't get it out, the more you shake a guy, the more he gonna explode at some point if he doesn't have a healthy way to be able to get it out.
Is that the only chapter that has a
That's the only chapter that has a curse word. Yeah, there are a couple of curse words throughout the book, but that's the only chapter that has that curse word in the title.
I have to get the holy oil out.
Yeah, you want But it's a great read. It's a great writing. One of my friends said, his name is Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. He said, Donald, I've read 32 books this year, and this book by far outpaces every book I've read as a man, right?
Okay.
And so powerful book. I'm really proud of it.
And they can email?
No, they can go to www.theremandbook.com and they can order it. They can order it there. There's no greater gift you can give your dude than wholeness.
Yes.
Right? So for every sister who's dealing with a guy and you don't quite understanding, there are differences between men and women, and you got to honor those differences. We speak directly to him in the book, and so get the book and you'll get a digital copy, you'll get a hard copy, and then when the audible copy is done, you'll get that too, all for one price.
3 for 1?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I just
Donald.
yeah, come on now. Yes, absolutely.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I know I purchased it, so I have the
You have the
digital copy.
Right.
I haven't had a chance to read it.
Okay.
Right now, I'm a part of Mom's Book
Club, right.
And we're watching T.D. Jakes' Disruptive Thinking. And it's so good.
That dude is, there. You know, preachers have seasons. He has none.
Right.
Like he don't have no season. Like his season is when he's born and when he dies.
Right.
Right. And even after he passes, his legacy is so strong. I've never met a guy other than our dad. I've never met a guy so timely.
Yeah.
Right. With everything that he says. And so shout out to Bishop Jakes. I love his ministry.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's. You want to recap or give any final words before we?
Yeah, I just
our talk.
Waynna, you know what? I want everyone to remember these words. Our men are in crisis. It's not just a guy popping another guy on the block. It's not. There's a story behind that. That if we don't find out the root causes and the triggers that are involved, you can continue to develop all this stuff that picks the fruit. But if you don't lay the axe to the root of the thing, that tree is going to continue to bear fruit. So I'm hoping that here in Delaware, we develop some policies and develop programming that helps to serve adult Black men, because without it, no matter how much, and I love ladies, right? You guys are killing it. But even as much as ladies are killing it, it doesn't move the social needle if Black men aren't killing it as well. Right? So the foundation of every family is a Black man. And if you don't heal him, then we're going to be in trouble. Right.
That's very good, Donald.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Very good. I was thinking about Black men.
Yeah.
And we only have a few more minutes. When they come out of being incarcerated, it's like, I know a few, it's like they just throw them out the door, kick them out the door.
Absolutely.
Nothing was done while they were in there.
They were there.
Not in Delaware. Now, and I hear of other states where they're getting somewhere, I don't know what state it was, I saw it on social media. It was somebody that was incarcerated. They got a bachelor's degree from an HBCU while they were...
Outstanding.
Yes.
I love it. Yes. I remember Mom, then Governor Ruth Ann Minter, right? We were in a meeting with Governor Ruth Ann Minter. And my mom said, Governor? Your mom make these faces, right? Governor? I'm wondering why you call it the Department of Corrections if you ain't correcting nothing. Just change the name.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of us were sitting there like, Right.
Yes.
She has such wisdom.
Yes.
Right, in that moment. And I have carried that. If you're not going to help to correct behavior, and you're just going to shove them out the door with no sense of anything. Fortunately, now we got the Remand Project, and that's why we want a Remand Project on every corner, like there's a McDonald's on every corner, to serve as many men as we can, because the institutions aren't doing it. But if you're not going to correct anything, if it's designed to be punitive, then let's say that. It's the Department of Punishment. Let's say that. But let's not disguise
Call it what it is.
Call it what it is, right? So shout out to Mom again for calling then Governor Ruth Ann Minter. And if she was, it don't matter who it is.
I know that's right.
She's gonna say the same thing.
She most certainly will. Thank you so much, Donald.
Thank you for having me.
Gracing us with your presence.
Who do I send my voucher to? My rider. About hotel stays and things like that.
Boy, bye. You are so funny. Going to take a quick break, and I will be back to give away tickets to the bingo event that Women in Labor are having December the 13th. I'll be right back.
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interest of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly. Federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
Welcome back to the Congo Hour. I love the guys down here so much. They really take care of us. They're very patient with us, and I truly appreciate them. I've been saying December the 13th, when it's December the 16th. So Women in Labor Incorporated presents Bingo Disco. It's going to be once again Saturday, December the 16th from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. The first game is at 8 p.m. It's going to be raffles, giveaways, and more. It's going to be music from the 70s. And what else? It's going to be at the Congo Legacy Center. My phone keeps doing something crazy. It's going to be at Congo Legacy Center, which is 501 West 28th Street. And it's our holiday fundraiser. And I say ours because I am a part of Women in Labor. It is my sister Carmen Anderson, who was the visionary of Women in Labor. And so the tickets are $40, and I will be giving away 3 tickets from myself. And I am not giving you all my number, because what happens is when I say I'm giving away something, people are texting even before I give my number out. Kira. She know I love her. So call 267-536-9094. Once again, 267-536-9094. And the first 3 callers will get a ticket, compliments of me. I want to thank everybody for supporting Mimi Sweet Cobblers. I am like, I think I need a bakery now. Donald's laughing at me because I used to not cook at all. Now I love cooking, I love baking. So Mimi Sweet Cobblers, the holiday is coming up. I am taking orders. So if you would like to order a cobbler, you can give me a call or text 302-521-7325. 302-521-7325. And I want everybody to remember that this is the holiday season. So be kind to others. Be kind to others, period. Because you never know what someone is dealing with. Particularly, as Donald, we were sharing, our Black men. I know someone, he was like, why all Black women gotta be mean to Black men when we say hello? Like, be kind. If they speak, speak back. Not every man is trying to get at you, ladies. They're just saying hi. So remember to be kind to one another. Once again, if you are going through grief due to a loss of a loved one, please give the funeral home a call at 302-652-8887. And if you are interested in pre-planning your funeral, your celebration of life, call that number, 302-652-8887, and ask for Kim. And Kim is wonderful when it comes to pre-planning. I've sat in on a couple of arrangements that she did. She's very thorough. She pulls things out that you probably wouldn't even think of. So you can pay monthly payments, and there are different packages. So please, please, please don't wait until you or your loved one is gone and having your family scramble to get finances together. So for example, Bishop Morton purchased hers when, Donald, you remember? It was a while, I mean, it was years ago. I want to say over 20 years ago. And so when she passed away, the funeral services was the same amount as it was 20 years ago. Now you can imagine the price of things going up. However, that does not include outside charges. And outside charges would be the cemetery, the digging of the grave. It also does include like it does include programs. It doesn't include like anything that's outside of the funeral home, but everything that the funeral home provides, those services remain the same. So once again, give Kim a call at 302-652-8887. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening on the Congo Hour. And I pray that this week is the best week of your life. God bless you and good night.